According to the second law of thermodynamics, the amount of disorder in a system must always increase. If the universe lasts forever, it must wind down. Stars will have burnt out, scattering their ashes, nothing touching, nothing interacting. This theory is called the heat death of the universe. Ironically, in heat death, the universe will become as cold as it is possible to be. Fire is one of those things you can't believe, like getting cancer. Oh, you might think about it when the canyon on the other side of town burns up one summer, or when you feel that breast lump you're pretty sure is really a cyst. But deep down you know it won't happen to you. Fire won't eat your surroundings. Cancer won't eat yourself. It won't happen to your family. And when it does happen, you enter a kind of trance, where you go through the motions of gathering your valuables, calling your relatives, visiting your sister Amy, who has just been diagnosed. You say to each other, "This is so weird. How could this happen?" You don't know what else to say. You sisters hadn't spoken much for years, adult bitterness overwhelming memories of childhood games you'd invented together. You were the oldest of four, and she, the next one down, grew tired of following in your wake. Later, when she is bone-thin and weak from the chemo, you will say it to her again, "How could this happen?" But by then she knows it is happening, and she doesn't respond, so you feel foolish and out of step. When the fire hits, you are in a fog. The fire is back over the ridge and you don't see it from the house, but the air is thick, and black plumes shoot up in the distance. Then you're in a panic, rushing from room to room. Your partner is strangely calm. But how do you get that heavy wooden sculpture your mother made down the stairs?
This is the Boulder County Sheriff's Office calling to advise all residents of Pine Brook Hills to evacuate the area immediately. Again,
you taking that?
Of Pine Brook Hills.
Calm down.
You calm down.
Make sure we're taking
we
the
should
right
be out
stuff.
of here.
When your mother died, you 4 kids split up her work and slipped off into your own little worlds. The moments of alliance you and Amy had shared in the face of your mom's illness were swept away by the unspoken guilt you each felt for not taking care of her. Your brother, once the darling of the family, plunged into his religious quest. Your youngest sister called her mother-in-law Mom. Amy fled back to the opposite coast to do good. She called you a few weeks later with problems, but it seemed too hard to get involved. And so each became a stranger to the others. Your mother was never one of those family glue mothers, but you 4 grew distant after her death, searching separately for what was gone, spiraling into your individual imitations of family. The fire feels as though it might pounce any minute, shooting sparks before you can get away. Finally, the car is loaded, and you drive down the driveway looking back. You picture the fire sweeping over the ridge and down to your house, from which you, unable to think, have extracted seemingly random items. At the evacuation point, the middle school, everyone is hanging around watching the fire 2 miles away leap up the hillside. You can't see your house, it's behind the fire over the hill. The circle of flames grows without seeming intervention, and the circle becomes an oval, a long rectangle, shooting brighter as the sun falls. And it hits you that it's not the house you would miss, it's all that stuff you didn't even think about saving, the stuff that's your history, the papers you wrote at that corporate job Amy used to criticize you for doing, the photo taken the summer after Mom died, when your father corralled you all into one final trip down the shore. Had you all gotten along then? No clues from the picture, you as usual staring out into space. So the trance becomes more of a removal as it did with Amy. You were with her, sitting on the bed, watching reruns of Andy Griffith, but you weren't talking, certainly not about the cancer, not even about anything else either. The 2 of you just sat there side by side, trying not to think. And the girl, your niece, who is visiting at just this moment in limbo, treats the fire like an adventure. You've never spent much time with her before, not since her father, your brother, careened away into his cult. What did you expect, another grand reunion? So just relax. Sit in the row of folding chairs in the school's parking lot and watch the show, like sitting in the radiation waiting room with the other relatives. Your son's last treatment? Congratulations. No, my sister has 2 more weeks of treatment to go. In the face of disaster, we are polite but disconnected. At the evacuation point, you go across the parking lot and check out the little bag of stuff you can get from the Red Cross. Eat the food the volunteers have spread out on a card table, bottles of water, soda, and cookies. In the radiation room, there's no food. Everyone is nauseated. You catch a glimpse of your sister's first day photo in her medical chart and realize how brittle she has become. All she wants now is to be able to drive herself to work, but they're radiating her brain and she isn't allowed. So you drive her to the food bank where she's the director, and she solves problems between bouts of vomiting into the airline sickness bags you'd collected on your flight to her place. In the parking lot with the other fire refugees, it's like a picnic, and you are calm, adult, a little wry. Any news, you ask the stone-faced police officer, wanting to know and not know whether your life has fallen off a cliff.